This morning I was talking to a Colombian businessman whose wealth exceeds 10 million euros. He is extremely concerned about the situation in his country. He fears something worse might happen or that the current government might remain in power after the next elections. He wants more options and is even considering leaving his country to live elsewhere. Depending on his goal, he can choose expensive or more affordable options based on his budget. Initially, I suggested Spain as an option. The easiest to understand since it involves obtaining a residency permit, living for 2 years within the country for at least 9 months per year. You can choose the months, they don't have to be consecutive. This way he could settle in Spain in the city of his choice. The Spanish passport is the easiest for a Latin American to obtain since Portugal and Italy require 10 years even with a golden visa. Portugal is going to change this, it's no longer 5 years as previously stated, while Spain requires only 2 years due to historical reciprocity agreements for having been a former colony and because of the shared language. In Spain, until April 2025, one could obtain a golden visa by purchasing real estate worth €500,000, and you would get indefinite residency as long as you didn't sell the property. But unfortunately, this option no longer exists, and now we have two alternatives: the non-lucrative visa and the digital nomad visa. The main difference between these two visas is that one allows you to work as a freelancer, invoicing earnings, while the other only allows you to bring in earnings from dividends and profits from your businesses. Depending on his situation, we can choose one or the other at the right time. But one positive thing is that with any of these three options, we can include the entire family. Moreover, all three require 9 months per year for 2 years to qualify for Spanish citizenship, granting one of the best passports in the world in terms of freedom of movement. This means no need for a visa to enter the US, Canada, Australia, Russia or China, key places in the world, and he can live in any European Union country thanks to agreements with countries like Germany, the Netherlands, Italy, France, or stay in Spain, or go to any other country with a Spanish passport which will allow multiple citizenship. He is clearly aware of all the taxes he must pay in Spain if he becomes a tax resident, including wealth tax, taxes on large fortunes, and a possible future exit tax if he has significant ties. That's why he's still considering this option for now. Having presented the first option, we move to the second: Serbia. He likes Serbia a lot because without the need to live there, he can obtain a passport in less than 1 year. We have had cases of obtaining it in as little as 3 weeks, though that's not typical. In terms of fees, it would cost him €500,000 in donations to the government, and he would become a Serbian citizen, retaining his Colombian citizenship. This would cover his access to the Schengen area, which is his primary concern. He worries that if things continue like this in Colombia, he could lose access to Schengen like Ecuador and Bolivia, or even face a US travel ban like Venezuela and Cuba have had. He must visit the US regularly for one of his businesses, and he cannot afford to be unable to travel there. In terms of freedom of movement, as you can see, Serbia doesn't offer access to the UK or the US. This is the only flaw I see in this citizenship, but otherwise it's a very solid option. Personally, I'm helping many US citizens who want to renounce their American citizenship because they don't want to pay taxes to the IRS despite not living there, and they want a second citizenship which can be acquired discreetly through contacts with the Serbian Prime Minister. Both the Constitution allows it and the Prime Minister signs the naturalization certificate. Leaving Serbia aside, we have the third option, the most expensive, but one that doesn't depend on just one document, combining a golden visa within the Schengen area with one or more citizenship by investment through official government programs. In this case, it would be interesting to combine an investment in a golden visa within the EU's Schengen area so that if his Colombian passport loses access, he can legally retain it by having residency in a country with Schengen access. There are many options available, and the most well known for Spanish speakers are Portugal and Spain, but neither of these are viable options for me, and here is why. As I mentioned earlier, Spain eliminated its program in April. Portugal takes 2 to 3 years to issue a residency card, which is absurd, and after that 10 years to grant citizenship, almost impossible. For this reason, it's much better to choose a golden visa like Hungary's or Latvia's, which are granted in less time and cost less. It can cost between 280,000 and 300,000 maximum, and it's not a donation, it's an investment in government approved funds with interest or in real estate, as in the case of Latvia. Also, we could get Greece for between 200,000 250,000 and 400,000 or even 800,000 depending on the type of real estate investment. Usually if we maintain these investments we will have residency for life, and if at some point we find another option that ensures Schengen access, perhaps a second or third passport, we can withdraw our investment as it's a returnable investment. Additionally, we add the Turkish passport through real estate, which can cost $500,000 or less depending on property chosen and legal fees. In this way he would be able to obtain the Turkish passport within 1 year without needing to live there. In 3 years he can sell the property, recover the investment, and still keep the passport and citizenship. The freedom of movement from Turkey is decent, considering it's an investment, not a donation, and adding Schengen countries to the list of accessible countries without a visa would complement the residency card we would obtain. In his case, he doesn't value Caribbean passports because he doesn't see them as solid options due to recent warnings from Trump and the Schengen area about these countries. He prefers to look at Turkey, especially since it's not a donation that lasts forever. Also, he doesn't consider El Salvador for now. He wants to secure these options first, which are nearly 100% returnable, and if he ever wants to invest 1 million in El Salvador, he will do calmly, as he doesn't want to lose his capital. These are his main options. Also, we have discussed other citizenship by merit or exception that are not as publicly available and are even more discretionary. For that reason, I invite you to fill out the form so we can see which option fits you best, and based on that, secure a second option for you and your family.